Boom! What's up, everyone? Ladies and gentlemen, making sure the volumes work. But welcome back to the DJ Live podcast. Boo, boo, boo. And the audio is officially fixed, and I didn't do anything to fix it. So
I think it sounds really good.
I think it sounds beautiful now. There's no hissing, no nothing, no crackling.
Yeah, I normally do sound good, but to me, I sound really good right now. This is great.
I did the lighting differently today too. I think we look better too. We look crispy on the camera.
Yeah,
So
I've been hearing that a lot lately. Cool. But I look good.
anyways, tonight's guest, we are. Is it still? Do we call it tonight? Because like we're doing it like in the afternoon now.
Today. Hey, we could even go earlier.
Oh my god! Yeah, we could.
I'm just
Anyways,
saying.
do you want to be called David or Dave Gordon?
Dave is great.
What's up, Dave? How you been doing? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited to chat.
Yeah, where are you from again?
I am from, I say Philly. It's right outside of Philly, but everyone,
That's fine to
everyone
say
who's
that.
an hour outside of Philly says Philly.
Right,
So,
yeah.
Philadelphia.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I tell people
Philly.
I'm from near Charlotte or near Raleigh.
Near
usually.
Raleigh, near Charlotte. I always just say Greensboro because it's bigger than any city I ever grew up in.
Really?
Yeah, little town of 30,000, man.
I thought you were from Columbus.
No, I'm from small town Cambridge, Ohio. It's an hour 30 to Columbus.
Okay, whatever. It's all Ohio.
Anyways, so David, we always like people to tell us about yourself in terms of how you became a DJ. For y'all that don't know, David is a DJ. He's also a DJ multi-op owner, and he happens to sell lights for Both Lighting USA. Woohoo! Yeah, how'd you get into DJing?
Yeah. Thanks, guys. So, I started DJing when I was 13 years old. Just for comparison, I'm 22 right now. So I started at 13. I got a DJ controller as a birthday present, and I was, posting videos and doing random little things here and there from 13 to 15. I started doing my friends' Sweet 16s when I was 15. And that right away immediately put me into the private event world. And I have been in private events the entire time. I've actually never done a bar. I've never done a club, although I'm actually ready and I would love to. I've been in private events since I was 15 years old. I went through a bunch of different rebrandings of my DJ name, of my company. And now I've landed on Accent Event Group. And we do a bunch of events every year in the Philly area.
Did you steal the event group title from SE?
I didn't steal the event group title from SCE. It's actually at least 2 or 3 companies in Philly that had event group.
Yeah, I
And
know.
honestly, it was a Google thing. Like I wanted accent. That was my word. And I looked up Accent Entertainment and that existed somewhere. So I can't just have the same company name. I went with event group. That gave me like the leeway on Google to actually show up when you were searched. And we just stuck with it.
I
Yeah.
joke there's an audio somewhere of Jan I basically when he was like, I created the event group title and everyone stole it from me and everything. He was the first one to do it and everything. He's since like he's chill with it now, but he's like everybody copied. This was like probably 5-10 years ago, but he was like in there's a
funny.
video clip of him basically getting heated over the fact that everybody stole it from him.
There's so many. It's just like it's DJ buzzwords.
It's
You know what I mean?
it's one
Like,
it is now, but he's like I started that. But it's whatever.
I was event group for at least 3 years before it was anyone other than me. I was the
Yeah.
whole group here, you know?
yeah, this dude was 9 years old. Event group, the first. That's crazy. You're 22 and you're rocking a multi-op that's pretty much just like you said, doing a bunch of events. That's fucking crazy. I really don't even feel like my life started until I was 24. Like I don't. Before I was 24, nothing matters. Anything before 24 is irrelevant. So that's good for you. That's great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I could think mine is like 18.
Yeah. Well, you're another young blood.
Yeah, but like
Not as young as that blood, though.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. No.
I was always 2 years older. So when I was 15, I told clients I was 17. When I was 16, I was 18. I never was the age that I actually was because it was just so embarrassing and just
Yeah. Yeah.
You would not hire a 15-year-old. You just can't.
You're,
Um,
you're right.
but they did.
That's
I didn't do a
awesome.
single event until I was 16, so that's crazy. Anyway, uh,
The
so
bars and like clubs, it's pretty much like you can say bars because people are always like, oh, DJ in the club. You can't just DJ in a club. You can't just decide you're going to go DJ in a club. That's not up to you. You know what I mean? But bars, fucking awesome. Super fun. That's when that quick mixing all these wedding DJs are trying to push now. It's like a must out there. It's super fun though. It's just different kind of vibe than private event stuff.
So 22. Currently, right now, you have how many DJs?
I have myself and one other DJ.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
One other DJ right now.
I was pretty sure it was one. Didn't want to say it out loud though.
Yeah.
So you got
No,
one other guy, and together you guys are predominantly doing what style of events now? Is it mostly weddings, or is it a little bit of other?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. There's not one big, like I used to be the Sweet 16 guy, but now I have mitzvahs, I have weddings, I have the corporate events like birthday parties. It's huge. Like there's not one that is over the top for anything. I'm not just a wedding company. That's the one thing is like I see all the event groups, all the wedding DJs, and they're posting wedding content
Right.
only.
Yeah, that's
I
us.
don't do
Right.
that.
I feel you. Yeah.
And I just have everything.
So one of the things that struck me when I first met you is your sales skills, more or less just your talking skills. You're very good at talking to people. So in terms of your current business, I'm curious, what are you doing in terms of like getting leads in and then shuffling through a pipeline of some sort?
Yeah, what's your funnel look like?
What's your funnel?
Yeah.
And
For sure. And please like tear it apart if anything. But
right.
We're prepared.
All right.
Erik said yes. Yes.
For starters, I am a HoneyBook user thanks to Rick from like 2016. Eric's
Just walk out the room.
You fucking
already-
bastard.
Yep.
God, thanks to Rick. Oh, you mean no thanks to Rick? Anyway.
Hey, no, the new features though, dude, they coming strong right now with the new features.
They've been on a trend of putting some new stuff
They're actually
out.
putting in some good automations finally. It's nice on the beta stuff.
All right.
But like in general, it's so hard because I have 65 events in HoneyBook. I can't switch even if I wanted to. Like
You think that? But
Yeah,
it's
65
not,
is not
that
bad.
crazy. It's really not that crazy.
I switched with
I know what
40.
I obviously know completely where you're coming from. However, it's not that crazy.
No.
Okay.
But like a couple hundred, that's a little crazy.
Well, no, even so, it's you just don't transfer everything.
You pick a date.
You transfer your totals. You transfer like your if you want all that like financial information in the past, you transfer all your totals so it shows in the fucking graphs. And then beyond that, like future clients, you just record obviously their names and contact information. You put whatever planning shit they've already done in there. And that's pretty much it. And then record how much money they originally owed you versus how much they still owe you. And that's the whole, and you can click that in probably like 2 or 3 minutes per person. So you're looking at 2 or 3 hours of work.
Or you can just choose to do all new.
But you would go from it, and at that point, you then whatever you're switching to, you just anything, you've already switched your leads into the new system, and then you go forward with the new one.
This is just general advice if anybody was thinking of switching, to HoneyBook instead of Event Planner.
Well, no matter what you're switching to or from, that's just how you would change CRMs.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd probably just put all the new inquiries into the new one and finish out all the old ones.
And that's another option. And a lot of like dudes with, if let's say they had like 1,000 events on the books for the future, that's probably the approach I would suggest to that person, unless they have a full staff that can do the data transfer, which usually they would actually. So,
anyways, back to your
so
funnel.
you use fucking HoneyBook. All right, cool.
I use HoneyBook. The inquiries come into HoneyBook. I have experimented with a few different sources of paid ads, none of which have gone super well, except, and you guys are going to just be mind blown. And let me just preface this by saying like 95% of my events are word of mouth. Like I just get inquiries, like people, I just
Well,
get
yeah, that's
every day.
yeah.
Happens. I do all of the social media posting. I make a bunch of TikToks and everything. But I get a lot of word of mouth and Bark, of
I
course.
knew you were gonna say Bark. It was either that or
Yeah,
Thumbtack. There was no other options.
Thumbtack is horrible. And you know why Bark works for me? Because I have automation set up on Bark. My Bark inquiries go from Bark into HoneyBook into a brochure instantly. So if I'm the first person to decide I want this inquiry that just came through on Bark, I can have a brochure and a text message sent to them within a minute. And that actually helps. I have booked thousands of dollars on Bark.
Wait a minute. How the fuck did you set that up? Is this
That's
with the new Zapier that they just finally added that you can add an inquiry to HoneyBook through Zapier?
I think there's always been new inquiry to Zapier. That's been, I mean, at least for a year that I've been.
It came out within the last year because
Uh-huh.
I've been because that's why I haven't been able to set up the wedding wire and the knot auto into HoneyBook is because
There was no
there was no
intake form.
supporting of entering a lead into HoneyBook.
That should
This is what
definitely-
I'm saying. HoneyBook is finally actually listening and implementing automational stuff that we need, and they just did all this in the last year because I logged in, and the problem is over the last year I have exited running operations for that business, so my usage in HoneyBook has gone down significantly to the point where literally I just logged in, I don't know, say November, and I saw the new dashboard they announced, and I was like, whoa, what else did they change? And then I saw that they added in where you can now change a stage and some few other things. And I saw that Zapier when I was like, oh my God, we can redo everything. But
I sent a message to you and your Fusion CEO, Hannah, where Zapier can now do HoneyBook to Vibo. So when you book a project in HoneyBook, it'll automatically put them in Vibo.
That's been in there for like 5 years.
Oh,
surprisingly.
okay. So that's been there.
Because HoneyBook allowed the output. They just never allowed the input into their platform, and then Vibo supported everything. I just never liked the automation side of it because I like to customize their Vibo platform before it's sent to them. I don't like to just send the template and go with that. I have them go in and actually make sure the names are correct because a lot of times coming out of it could be like Sam Yeller's what project is their name in HoneyBook, and so I want it to be Sam and Kyle in their profile and make sure they match correctly. And then also with the new added stuff in Vivo with photos and videos, we're gonna start customizing what enhancements have already been booked and which ones haven't. And having that directly in the Vibo app so that when they're planning, there's a whole section on enhancements and it's built into it with the photos and the videos and the links. All that's built into the whole planning process. So if they're missing something, it's right there.
Add it, or potentially be tempted to add it so they can contact you. But HoneyBook, you could just click a button, right? They have that feature. Like if they want fucking uplights, you could email them, do you want to add uplights? And it's in a button and they can click yes. And then just does it.
You could email them a brochure and stuff, and the brochures they can add to cart and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's just I'm kind of like you have steered clear of using their pricing brochure softwares. I've switched to all the website, so everything's on the website on just links.
Yeah.
Because,
well, that's how I do it because it's not all pretty in my CRM. So that's how.
Yeah. The thing I ran into is when you include those HTML attachments that HoneyBook likes to do, those emails get flagged.
Huh.
So they don't make it to the inbox. So there's no point. Versus if I just put one link in there, it makes it to the inbox, and then voila.
I always laugh. So it used to be a common thing where people would be like, "Hey, can you brand my emails? Make them look like MailChimp ones where they're
you don't like that.
It's
though.
background's blue and you got your logo
They
and
look
blah blah
pretty
blah
as fuck.
pictures." And I was like, "Listen, there's nothing more janky than an email that hits a spam folder. Just stop. Just get that out of your mind. Just be like, do you want to buy a DJ? Just talk normal."
Yeah. Talk like you're texting.
It's just don't format the fuck out of your email like that. You can
'Cause it
put
gets
links
flagged.
and you can put hyperlinks, but like that's too much. You know, unless you're using MailChimp or unless you're using, SendBlue or SendGrid, whatever the fuck you're using, those email applications that are literally following sets of rules that you can't follow, send Gmail emails, you're gonna get flagged.
Especially with the newer regulations and shit coming out.
It just gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
When I set up my domain email, like my @accenteventgroup.com email, I got on a call with Google. Like you get admin support when you get Google Workspace, and they walked me through this entire process of setting up my CNAME records, DMARC records. These are all these like back-end email things that you need to make sure that your emails don't go to spam. So I actually never get anyone reaching out to me that my emails are like, that's not an issue for me. I don't think. Even the HoneyBook branded with everything in there. So
yeah, well, if Rick hasn't done what you just said, then shame on you.
I don't think we have
Rick.
for the HoneyBook integration.
If you're using a third party to control your email address, which you are with
Gmail.
that scenario, you have to have like the right SPF records. And
I think we just got something about it because so it used to be through so this is like the early iterations of the company. Squarespace is where we built the website and got the domain, and they set up the Gmail for us. So they set up that already existing. We have since dropped Squarespace altogether and switched over to WordPress, and in
it has
the
nothing
exchange,
to do with your website though. I'm talking about your domain email
It's like
address.
GoDaddy.
Like it's
Well, that's
owned
what I'm
by
saying. It's-
whoever owns your
Squarespace owned it. That's the problem. We got the domain through our Squarespace. And then
mine's
after,
on Wix. I have mine's owned by Wix because that was where I fucking started.
Well, this is the part I'm getting to, is the fact that when we dropped Squarespace altogether, they shuffled us down to who they buy the domains through. And it's a fucking nightmare.
I could see that. But what is it? Do you know?
It's like urlmanager.com. Like it's not GoDaddy. It's not easy to operate.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my website person knows how to do it.
Okay.
And she took care of all that recently.
Well, if you haven't fixed your SPF records, and it's DMARC is the other one that'll fuck all that up.
Yeah,
but it basically tells the fucking internet that you're allowed to use a controller to control your email.
Correct.
That's what it's.
Yeah, and you just had to do that with all, and you have to do that with all your like Keep and HoneyBook and all those.
Yeah, I have it for Keep and I have it for DJ Event Planner.
Yeah, no, we just had to go through that because it's required by law now. That was the new regulation that went into place in February.
What is?
You have to have those records set up for your email to go through. Like that's part of the new regulatory that came through.
Well, to be fair, anyone who doesn't do it, it's not like they didn't want to do it. It was just because they're stupid. It's because they were never told they had to go do it. It's like that. It's not like they were just like, fuck, I'm not going to have the right records.
Well, I don't geek out on that shit, so we didn't know about it. And keep.
I feel like it took me forever too to learn the dealio.
I got it done for both Lighting USA off the rip as soon as I saw anything about it. I figured out how to do it, but we did our websites through Shopify on that, so it was a completely different route. And then when we went to do it for the other 3 websites we manage, I just said fucking basically emailed our website person that built the websites and said, can you do this? And she took care of it.
Yeah. Well, smoke signals don't work, so definitely know how to use an email. So we've made it to step 2 of your process.
They fill out the inquiry form. They get a brochure in their email right away. And it has all the pricing on there. So I am one of those, even for the weddings, I am one of those. I know it's like you either give them the pricing up front or you don't. I give the pricing up front. And then they scroll down to the bottom of the brochure and they check off the boxes of which service they want to book. And sometimes they'll contact us. Sometimes we'll have to follow up 3-4 times before they do that. But ultimately, it's easiest for them to just check off those boxes. I go in, I send them a proposal for the event. I use Honeybook Proposals, which is invoice and contract. They pay a deposit, and then that's it. They sign, and we reach out to them the week. If it's a wedding or a mitzvah, I reach out to them to start planning 1 month before. If it's any other event, I reach out to them Monday, the week of, to schedule a call, and we we do their event then.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you using the smart files or legacy files in Honeybook?
I'm still using legacy files. I talked to you about it. I said you said that you still do as well.
Yeah.
I tried smart files. I don't know. Maybe I just got too lazy or what. It wasn't working well.
I need to look back into it, but like at least for proposals, we still use the legacy one. Just makes more sense in my opinion.
I have no problems with it at all.
We're lucky that we have access to the legacy though, because if you're a new user, you don't get access to it.
Yeah,
you only get access to the new smart files.
I helped the dance studio sign up for Honeybook. I got the referral and everything, and then I was like teaching them how to do it, and no legacy files. They don't even.
You can ask for it though.
Files, I asked. They said no. I asked, and they literally said no to me. I don't know. I'm sure maybe they'll say yes to you.
Well,
but
yeah, I mean, I've met with the CEO, so I mean,
yeah. They said no to me, and one of the big things that's a legacy thing is timelines. I still use timelines in Honeybook, and it's not available.
Oh, they used to have a legacy file for like timelines, and just like because we switched to Vibo, of course, for the timeline, but I didn't even know that was in Honeybook.
It's kind of nicely laid out. It has time on the left and title and description, and it just goes down the list. I use it for everything. It's like it's a manual process.
You don't just build it out in Vibo and then do the printout?
I don't use Vibo.
You just told us that it had features for Vibo. Honeybook had features for Vibo.
I thought you said you did use Vibo.
Well, because I finally paid for Zapier, and I was looking through like what integrates with Zapier so I could get the most out of it, and I saw Vibo, and I just needed to tell you.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Yeah, I'm not. My bad.
Okay, this makes more sense now. Why you told us you should look into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, the majority of everything is through Honeybook. We talked once about this situation where we count the number of events and whether a DJ and photo booth event counts as 1 or 2. So for me, it counts as 1. If I have a DJ and photo booth gig going on, that counts as 1 event for me, not 2. I think our friend over here counts it as 2.
Me? Well, it depends on who I'm talking to in that moment. You know, if I'm talking to Facebook, it counts as 1 because I'm just looking at a graph from DJ Event Planner. Now, if I'm hanging out at a party, potentially, the number potentially increases. But who knows?
It's classic DJ map. Whenever you talk to a DJ and they say how many events they do, just divide it by 2, and that's probably the real number.
Right. I'm an exaggerator. I don't even mean to do it. Sometimes I just am an exaggerator.
It's just everybody does it. They inflate. I do it from time to time. Inflate the number a little bit, just because it sounds better to round up.
But do you? All right, so if a photo booth is by itself, is that 1 event? Do you count that? Okay, all right, then that's an even trade. That's fine. Yeah.
See, but then
that's the same. Yeah.
That is an interesting thing though, but because it's counterintuitive. You're like, if it's a DJ only event, it's just it's 1 event. If it's a photo, it's 1 event. But if they're together, it's also 1 event.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't know. Sometimes how I word it is like, we had 40 employees out today.
Whichever number sounds higher.
Right. Whatever is the more impressive sounding thing.
God, if you're saying I'm going to start using that number because we send 2 to 3 people to every event.
Well, we're not. Yeah, I'm not counting roadies, dickhead. See, but that's an
employee.
I stopped inflating my numbers as the real number got higher, and then I was like happy enough, to just say the real number.
Yeah. The gig count is the only one that I would even flip-flop because of what you just said, really. It's like, does it count? Some days it counts as 1, some days it counts as 2.
Just tell them how much money you got in your bank account. Just end it there.
Exactly. And the fact that I could do that is the reason it doesn't actually matter to me, you know.
That's so funny.
That's super funny. I don't even remember talking about that. That's funny.
So what's the like follow-up system? You got hella automation set up on the back end?
You know what? For automations, I actually don't. I kind of customize it. I kind of do it manually. I have some stuff going on in Zapier, but it basically just goes to my to-do list to remind me to push a button to send off the follow-ups. But and it's in my process to get those automatic, but I just haven't found a way that I can customize it enough. Maybe that is maybe that's a Honeybook like limitation. Actually, they just came out with those like smart fields that you can put in like names of events and stuff into your emails.
Wait,
you used to only be able to put their first name.
They finally added that feature?
It's added. So
oh my God.
Like I have all of my follow-up templates. I just send them off myself.
Merge tags. They finally added merge tags.
Oh. Well, if you could, I mean, yeah, that's good.
We used to only have the name of the client and the project date.
Well, that's ridiculous. But I could work with that. You could work with that. I'm sure
we did.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
But you're telling me they finally added, like, I can pull the date and some other random shit.
Yeah, I always
I
changed a bunch of my emails like, hey, I'm so excited for Jessica's Sweet 16, and like it just right in there. That's perfect.
Dude, fuck that. That's
it feels like the Android iPhone thing. Like the iPhone features are just getting.
Well, the merge tag. So I'm gonna call it a merge tag. Basically, you can pull whatever information from wherever it is, and it's just a universal thing that switches for the value. I'll email myself though using DJ Event Planner, and each employee you can make custom ones and whatnot, and I'll like put their home address, and I'll populate like a Google Maps URL that begins with their address, ends with the venue's address, because I can just populate it and see 88 miles, and then I can do my equation for how much money they make for that type of thing. And there's a big rabbit hole of what I just talked about payout equations getting written with merge tags. But that alone, fuck that. That's insane.
That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
Wait, how does there's a software that
it's not a software. It's a merge tag. And it's a formula
what's
based.
doing the formula?
You can literally use a merge tag, and it's a date calculation merge tag, or a number calculator. And the date calculation, you would open it with caret date, or open caret, whatever the fucking merge tag is, close, and then the next merge tag would be event date minus 14 days, close it, and
I'm talking addresses. What are you using to calculate miles between addresses?
I literally took a Google Maps URL, and I measure, I like did, my house to your house in Google Maps, and then I put the URL in a text document, and I read it, and I replaced the parts with merge tags that needed them, and then I just send that in an email now. And it populates the URL correctly. So when you click it, Google Maps just opens as a pop-up.
Oh, you're replacing the ending part of the URL with the new address from the venue.
And it's both. Yeah. The entire from here to here is pre-mapped.
So you basically just click on the URL, and then basically it shows you the number of miles, and you're like, done.
Yeah.
Done. Right. You just go through and click the. Oh, okay. So
that's
basically
one of the things I have to know. But basically, I was just going to say that little thing took for fucking ever before, and that one automation was just so much of a lifesaver.
I wouldn't think it would take that long if you just had Google Maps open, and at least you're going from your home address the whole time.
It's just a pain in the dick. I don't know.
I just remember it was a pain in the dick. Copy paste, or you just stop paying the mileage fees.
Good luck. Once you pay someone something for something, you can never take it back.
You just got to increase their base rate, man.
You
That's all I'm
can
telling you.
never take it back. Well, even that, they would look at that as a pay cut. I guarantee you that.
I pay mileage fees as well.
Yeah,
We don't.
It's not crazy. It's just fair. You know, it's
You got to drive for more than an hour and a half before mileage fees include, or you get paid anything for that.
yeah. I just pay you. That's it.
You can't take it back. It's like the exact.
It's not crazy either, and they like, it's
Wow.
50 bucks.
This sounds like a
whatever.
great bonus for my guys. I'm going to start paying them mileage fees.
I only pay them $1 per mile. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
and
That's
it's one direction. I don't pay them for two directions. So it's like literally, okay, it's covers all your gas.
That's why I don't
And you make
do it.
about $20 an hour for actually driving. That's about the equation.
That's why I don't do that. It's like you're getting paid a $700 base fee to go do the event.
I hear you, and it just is what it is. My dudes have a lower base pay, but they make more money over there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and in Honeybook, can't you? Like what is the limitation here? I know that you bring a lead in and you can only have like one pathway for it, right?
Correct.
It's
So
like,
if you're thinking
so
about keep,
everything that's gonna,
it's just one of those blocks.
Exactly.
That's all you can do
it's
in
like
Honeybook. is just
one sequence, no matter what.
It's
you
a
can
single
run it,
sequence.
and then once that sequence is over, you have to manually
Start a new one
start
if
a
you
new
wish.
one or whatever you're trying to do. That's not that crazy though. Like you could just have a sequence for the first chunk, and then if they don't do anything, set your reminder for the very end, and then it emails you, lets you know that lead just ghosted you, and then you switch it to that campaign, and then you forget about it.
So like the way we did it, just you have like multiple, all built into one. So like I can have shit triggering based on the event date. I can have shit triggering based on when they started the automation.
Okay, so if
I
you
can overlap.
do those two,
I can
okay.
overlap it all together into one
Right.
giant thing.
Yeah, it can just be like it's a lead. So here's the entire lifespan period.
Exactly,
until
that's exactly what it
until
is.
they move to a pending or whatever.
And if they're an asshole, if they're just being like, it's been too long, all you do is you open up their automation and either adjust the time frame of like when the next step's going to be. You just like push it out by two weeks and then it starts again. Or you just delete a bunch of sequences and they go to the long term.
Yeah.
You just or you can just switch them to long term in general, and you can skip through automations too. So like say down here I have an automation that says or change to long term. If I go click approve this one, it jumps them through all that shit and moves down to this point.
It's funny how like a CRM is just like it's like literally like learning to play the piano or something, like whatever instrument you play, because like it's all about how you can fucking use it. Yeah, it's like how crafty can you get with it? You know, people are always like, "Oh, what's the better blah blah blah." I'm like, "Well, it depends on which one you study the shit out of." You know,
And even then, each one has its limitations.
well, sure, but you know what I mean.
Each one excels at something, and each one fails at something else.
But a power user, I'll call it a power user. Like I'm definitely a DJ event planner power user.
You're an automation power user.
Sure,
because
sure,
you're using
that too.
more than just one.
And sure, but I'm saying like I'm sure the quote unquote power users of Honeybook are doing some shit. You know what I'm saying? And I guess you guys are probably that. But you know what I'm saying. It works. It works.
Well,
I feel like I need to do the sort of manual hybrid, what a hybrid will say follow-up process, because I have people who message me back and they're like, okay, like, thank you all for the info. I have a committee meeting next week. I'm going to contact you next week. But my automation is set to go off in 3 days and email them like,
so adjust it.
Well,
So just adjust it.
Could you mark that email to get skipped? Could you do that?
I think so.
You can, but then it automatically kicks off the next date timer. So like if you have a 3 day and a 3 day, if you mark that one done, it just now starts for this 3 day timer.
Oh, it doesn't do 6 days before the second?
No.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying like you have to click
sucks.
edit the automation on that person's profile. Because the one part that's interesting with Honeybook is it applies a copy of the automation to each one. Mm-hmm. So if you go change the master, it does not fuck with any of the others.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either because you can't make changes on the fly. You have to change every goddamn project.
I don't know.
Which kind of sucks.
Well, you guys aren't selling me on Honeybook, I'll tell you that much.
But it allows you to customize each one a little bit if you need to. Like like in your case where they say follow up in a week, I would just insert into the automation a task to either manually check up on them in a week based on that combination, or just delay the next email for a week. Whichever one is last, or whichever one makes more sense for you. We hired a VA to help with our automations. She manages all those tasks because the way our funnel is right now with everything flowing into it, it's roughly 80 to 120 tasks a day on the manual side. This is not the automated. This is just the manual side of mostly texting. Like 90% of that is like, send this text follow-up because we have no automated texting. Do you have a solution?
So yeah, I am testing out. So let me just say that I'm in a really pivotal situation right now because I'm finishing my master's degree in cybersecurity, and I am set to start my career in cybersecurity by the end of this year, beginning of next year. I'll be done by September. But the company is doing well. I don't want it to go anywhere, and I also don't want to do events every single weekend. I certainly can't work full time and answer follow-ups and talk to clients.
You have
So
got to get off HoneyBook then. You have got to move to where you're not talking about manual steps.
I am using HoneyBook with Zapier. It's helping me a lot. And last week I hired an office manager. So I have an office manager starting for me remote next Tuesday.
Oh, you hired a VA too?
It's not a VA. She is in the area. She actually owns a wedding planning business.
There
and
you go.
She works. What?
There you go.
Yeah, and she works at a venue, a really nice venue nearby, like Hybrid, does wedding sales there. So she just, I'm so glad, I'm so excited.
The guy I was working for in Ohio, there was a wedding planner, and she basically ran the fucking DJ company. He pretty much owned it, but she ran the fucking thing, and she did all the consultations, and she basically hired each of the DJs to go do the events. He pretty much just signed the bill. And she took a cut of every event, basically.
Yeah.
Which
So
was a win-win for all the above because she was the top wedding planner in the area. She had like 5 other wedding planners underneath her. So pretty much every wedding that was worth a shit went through her company and got one of our DJs. So the owner, yes, made less, but he didn't have to do any of the work to get the leads, nor did he have to worry about, managing any of it. Except for gear. Like we would talk to him about like the gear we needed for if we needed like extra speakers or some random cold spark or something like that, moving heads, etc. He would help with the production and the gear side because that's what he was. He was a gear head. He was a techie guy. But
I'm putting in all the automations that I can, and also hired an office manager, which is gonna, of course, take so much of that like manual stuff away from me. I want to focus more on the sales, and I basically have sort of a deadline-ish because I want to hire at least one more DJ by the end of the year, and I would love I'll ask a question to you. I would love to hire at least one more DJ. I want to get a 3rd photo booth, and I want things to be running themselves as best as possible by the time I go and inevitably take that full-time job.
You should. Have you seen the TikTok guy? This is like a little side venture that has his degree in Homeland Security, and all he does is fuck with people on the internet, like fucks them over. He gets like, I can't imagine any of the cases off the top of my head, but like someone will contact him and be like, this person did X, Y, and Z, and he's like, all right, my name is it, and this is my degree in Homeland Security, and we're gonna find this asshole online, and he like researches, he's like, this is his house, this is where he lives, this is like just exposes the person online, or he'll like sign him up for like spam material and shit online, and this is how we deal with this asshole hacker and stuff like that. The dude literally, I guarantee, does zero with Homeland Security. He's making all of his money off of his social media account right now. It's fucking hilarious. Ideas though, having a degree in Homeland Security is just like a very interesting thing that would work well on social media to go viral.
Yeah, that would be a goal too. And I've been really posting on TikTok. I post like a lot, but it's DJ content, and
people will send him those spam emails and stuff. You know, like if you click here and they like steal your IP
yeah.
address, and he'll like reverse send them the exact same thing that'll steal their IP address. And he's like, let me just send them this little thing that says, yeah, check my bank account here. And it, like they clicked it. There we have his IP address. Now where is he located? Like he just goes down the rabbit hole of finding that person. And it's, oh my God. And then he reports them, of course, once he has all the data and information. But there's a lot of those guys that are investigators and hackers and stuff that they make content hacking the hackers.
And scammers.
Or mostly scammers. It's hackers hacking scammers and stuff and finding who they are and reporting them / just making very funny content with it. But yeah, no, if you're trying to like have this company run on autopilot, it's going to take hiring people and just knowing that you're going to back yourself down to a point where you're going to make 5 to 10% a year of the overall company, and that's pretty much it. But you got to really have some A-list like number one people in the company that will actually run the damn shit. And then you also have to like, you know, have to give away pretty much full control of everything if you're really trying to step out.
Yeah, I feel like it's just going to be a process of like, here's the first, you know, the basic stuff. You're going to reply to the leads. You're going to send out the proposals. You're going to do this. But like, let's say every week or so, I think of another task that I can start offloading until I get to a point where, you know, my assistant, my office manager is doing as much as possible. And that's why I hired her now in March, and I won't have a job until, you know, at the very earliest October. So hopefully that gives enough time to make all that happen.
Or you don't start a job and you just double down on your business.
I totally hear you. I'm doubling down right now, though. This is the double down time. Like, this is it. And in the future, few years down the road, I would love to take all of the business knowledge that I've learned through this process and put it into a cybersecurity company, which can just, the numbers are just in a different ballpark.
Yeah, and then you can advertise by making funny TikToks, basically hacking other spammers for marketing.
Perfect. So it's like it's a whole like life goal list, but yeah, the doubling down. Like I'm spending, my day is divided between the company, a little bit of school. I'm basically finishing up now, and Both Lighting USA too. I can talk about that if you'd like. Gladly.
Rick's like, oh,
I mean, go for it.
Don't twist my arm.
I mean, David's just like practically our number one sales rep at this point.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, literally, I think people know David's name more than anybody else in the company.
Nice.
He'd be the guy calling you when you place your order. Didn't he call you?
I've called you, Eric. Yeah. I've left you voicemails. You should check.
I was going to say, I didn't pick up. I don't remember that.
Who was it? Low Stacks. Low Stacks. He literally shot me a text after you called him and left him a voicemail. He's like, yo, what's your boy David calling me asking if I'm ready to buy more lighting or something?
I make the voicemails really nice.
Oh, he was fucking around. He wasn't saying that. He was just like he took it at face value. You know, he basically, yeah, that's just why he texted me that. It was just a joke. But you know, the funny part is though, he asked me questions about buying lights when he texted me.
Oh, he asks you. Doesn't call me back. Goes right to the boss.
Yeah, well, if you got that relationship, I mean, Eric's not going to call you to buy lights.
No.
That's fair.
Eric is literally going to shoot me a text.
Yeah, I'll text Rick and be like, hit Marcellus up, and I'm just like, ooh. And even that's like a toughie. And I text Marcellus like every day, all day, pretty much.
You really?
Yeah, we're like meme friends now.
Oh, God.
You know how it is.
You know how it is. That's hilarious. Anyways.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I think you should really, really consider switching CRMs there. I really do feel like you're missing a big opportunity to solve some headaches you're talking about, you know.
Let me ask you a question, Eric, just rattle off for me. You've got your follow-up pipeline, right? Tell me the days, 1 day, 4 days, 7 days, 1 month, like rattle
Oh my
off to me
lord.
how often you use
We're gonna be here for 3 hours, dog.
No,
that.
I can say
That's
it's
what I'm
super.
saying. Like, just
I can
go.
say it's super quick. Well, there's different campaigns. There's and they all overlap. So they all run at the exact same time. But active lead would be maybe day one, day two, or just whatever on day one. And then 7, 14, 21, 28, like once a week at the tail end of the week.
Okay.
And then long-term nurturing would be reverse from event date every 50 days, maybe a month if you were trying to be a little more aggressive. I do 50 days. And then wedding day countdown, if it's a wedding client or lead, would just be once a month. And I think it's 18 months worth of shit.
18 months.
Well, it goes from reverse, so they might step in on 7 months remaining. They don't necessarily get every single one.
It's
So
just built.
I book 85% of the inquiries I get, and I only do 3 follow-ups, maximum 3. That's it. Like the third follow-up is like, hey, just checking in with you one more time.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
It's because you got
it's just
strong.
a
You
little
got strong
different.
leads. You're getting handshake leads.
It's just totally different. We're
Yeah.
pumping thousands of people through this. That we've never met in any capacity. That no vendor was like, go hire this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And that's great. I'm not shitting on you or anything like that, but it's just a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm like in between. I'm pumping. I think our numbers are averaging 40, 50 leads a week. So imagine trying to do your process for 50 new leads a week.
Well, it's just not possible.
It's
It's
just not.
different. But also,
But we're not booking. We're booking what, like 10% of that, if that.
my outlook on it is all of the paid advertising
Is it different?
is just icing on the cake. Your cake is as big as your word of mouth, though. Like, we also get a fuckload of word of mouth. It's hard to even put a exact number on it because I don't really know, because it comes from so many different areas. Because also, the more gigs you do, the more gigs you're going to do because you make all those relationships. You've shaken that many more hands,
Paid ads are the accelerator.
Yeah, well, paid ads, there's no sense in stopping unless you're at capacity. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah.
If you're at capacity, sure, duh. Why the fuck are you gonna go waste money on Wedding Wire? It is a waste of money. And in that argument, I'll agree with all these people saying Wedding Wire is a waste of money. However, if you're not at capacity, you're being dumb. Unless you just don't want to make a bunch of money. That's, I guess, could be your thing also.
Yeah. Wedding
Technically,
Wire,
I don't know.
That's the best way to sum it up right there. Wedding Wire, the not Google, Facebook, it makes profit if you're available. If you have availability, doing those ads will make you money. Won't make you as much money, of course, as a handshake, wonderful word of mouth referral. That's where you make your bread and butter.
Yeah, well, you focus on all of it. It's not like you slack over on the right so that you can focus on the left.
Yeah.
We are the venues that hand us weddings, basically. Or I'm always little dick sucking, just a little bit, just to make sure that you still like me. Always.
Did I hear you catch that you have automated text now using HoneyBook? How?
Yeah.
Explain.
Well, it's in Zapier, and I'm testing out a phone system. See it now. I have an office manager, so it's no longer my cell phone. I'm testing a phone system called Open Phone. It's the nicest looking UI that I found that also is relatively cheap. I'm not a fan of Google Voice at all. Actually, I don't know. Hopefully, I'm allowed to say this, but we use Google Voice at both lighting,
Yeah, you can.
and I am just
Not a fan.
everything. Like, you get a voicemail, there's not a callback button there. Like, you're listening to a voicemail and you have to copy and paste the phone number.
I don't use any of those
What are
Google
you talking
services
about?
for anything.
It's right here. You call back.
No, I'm talking about the web app. I do everything. I sit at a computer and I do my both lighting stuff.
I'll have to look. Are you sure you can't just like tap on the name and it calls them?
Dude, I'm just so sure it's crazy. Maybe I'm not. I don't know.
I'll
But I'm
I'll
not
double
doing
check it after
voice-
here, and if I find it, I'll send a screen recording. If not, just know the satisfaction that you're right.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, so you can.
You're probably the only one
now it's-
using the computer though, for calling at least.
I'm copying and pasting from the Google Sheets, so it's
Yeah.
quicker.
You
for
could
that.
set up in Keep where he would have like a scroll list of contacts. It's like, oh, these are the people I'm supposed to call today. It could be 1,000 people, and you just like click the button, and then it would only it like runs a voicemail if it goes to voicemail, because 90% are just going to go to voicemail. It's like a telemarketing system, and the second someone actually picks up, you're on the phone.
In Keep?
Yeah,
Because we have all the Keep phone numbers and shit.
in Keep.
Oh.
Yeah. You just could scroll through it, and
Sounds
you can
like-
get through a call list. That's literally what a telemarketer is doing. I don't know if they use Keep, but Keep
There's
has
a-
a shit in that you could set.
There's a
up.
couple different like dialing services like that where basically you can put in a fucking list of phone numbers and click call, and it'll go through the list until someone picks up, and as soon as someone picks up, it gives you the phone. And then you just pre-record a voicemail, and it'll leave that pre-recorded voicemail every time.
Right,
So
yeah.
it maximizes your time calling people.
That's what I was,
That would save some time, for sure.
whatever. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I fucking hate Google Voice. I use it for like SEO shit, just so like I can get a phone number without purchasing a phone number. But otherwise, I just whatever.
I like it. I like it because I have one app that has 7 phone numbers on it on my phone. So I can manage every phone number at once. But I guess, other softwares do the same thing. Interesting. But open phone allows, so this is a question for me because I have looked into Zapier automated texting, and I could not find a service that would allow for that to be clean and work.
I use it.
So Open Phone works. Zapier has their own Zapier phone service thing, but the texts come from a different phone number
That's
every
the
time.
part I didn't like.
Yeah.
You could just
but
use
that's the thing.
Twilio though. Also,
I couldn't
It
get
links to
Twilio the way I wanted to work either. I couldn't get to use. Twilio did not have an interface where I could literally go through
You don't
and view.
use Twilio. You make the number on Twilio, and then you go into Zapier and connect Twilio, and then in Zapier use your.
But then if
command.
someone calls that number, what does it do?
Oh, you set up the forwarder in Twilio.
But what if they text back?
Then you have to have an app. I don't know. You have to have. Oh, then okay. You have to have a hub for texting. Then.
That's what I'm saying. Twilio didn't have any hub, so there's no convo.
Yeah.
It could send a marketing text message out, but it was a no reply number almost in a way.
I get the replies. I don't know. I just have my Twilio set up better or something.
They must.
know what to tell
They
you.
must redirect to a new number.
Well, I guess I use DJ Event Planner as my texting hub, and that's how I look at all my texts conveniently. You can go into Twilio and find them, but that's annoying.
That was my problem. I didn't like how it worked.
I don't know.
I started with Zapier because I'm already a paying customer of Zapier, and I looked up Zapier VoIP services that already integrate, because I knew that there's not going to be any way for Honeybook to do any kind of texting without the Zapier integration. So I found Open Phone, and it's a beautiful looking UI. I got a local phone number, and I'm about to start switching all of the phone number everywhere is my personal cell phone. So it's,
Right.
as soon as I finalize that, it's going to start switching. And that's where the text automations, I'm going to begin those, I'm doing both at the same time. I'm pumping out as many automations as I can and hiring the office manager. So I'm I'm doing it all at once.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it really, because obviously I did all our automations, and I guess you could call her an office manager. That's probably a good term for it. And really my job is just like controlling the automations, and she doesn't even really know what they're doing completely. It's a work in progress, but she doesn't really have to, you know what I mean? It's just like all the automation pushes the work onto her plate like it's supposed to, and she completes the job, you know, and then
that's the beauty of automation. It should do exactly that.
Yeah, she just kind of does the phone calls when they're supposed to happen and clicks the next button.
In his situation, though, the problem arises when the automation breaks. You have to be available to fix it.
Well, yeah.
Correct. Like I know it's inevitable that I'm going to be doing probably a bunch of work always. Like you mentioned, you know, get to the point where you just hand off everything. I love that, but I just want to get as much of the strenuous daily tasks off my plate as I can. That I'll be happy with.
I hear you, and I think you should really just open your mind to possibly a different solution than HoneyBook.
I will say
I think it's just all in house.
HoneyBook's like a waiting game. Because like they have committed to all these features that we want are going to be implemented in the next 2 years, including texting. Yeah, it's coming. We'll see.
It came, but you can't send custom texts. All it does is send payment reminders.
It's correct. Bullshit. It's
correct.
Bullshit.
It's coming though.
That's bullshit.
This is just the rollout. It's everything they fucking do is just this slow rollout. The only thing I'm happy with is last year and the year before that was all about pretty. Let's make this as pretty as possible. And now they're finally focusing on features that actually are
profitable.
Yeah, make me more money, not pretty. Because I literally wanted to like stab their eyes out with the Smart File edition because, you know, I'm the beta program, and in the beta program we have to commit that we will try the new features. We will give them a beta run for a month of whatever the new beta feature is. So when Smart Files came out, I tried them for a month, and I literally saw my fucking money go down the drain because they like locked the file. You know that locking feature? Mm-hmm. You couldn't turn it off in the first month. And like all of us beta people were like, this is the most annoying thing ever. Whenever you open a Smart File, it would say, please check your email for the verification code. So we sent it to their email, and now HoneyBook's like, you need to make sure that they were the authenticated person to the open said email. I'm like, turn that shit off.
Man.
And they're like, yeah, but you want to prevent people from making the wrong payment. I'm like, I don't care who the fuck pays it. Just give me money.
I'm waiting for a feature that I asked for multiple times. I would love to put my DJs and my photo booth staff in my HoneyBook, but there's no level of access that I can give them that won't show them how much the actual gig is worth.
Bro.
Like,
yeah, no, you won't.
Open the invoice. Off that shit. What the fuck?
This
is literally like the basics. Like,
no.
What are you talking about?
Well, my personal opinion is financial transparency with your employees and everything is very valuable.
And sure, but that's a different day that's a different subject. It's just the capability, you know. Like all our DJs can look at our pricing page, but I'm not gonna go just be like, this is the number. It's just blatant. That's different.
Well, you can't see the totals. You can see your events. And you can see your events, and you can see basically the full contract, the full amounts for their events. I believe you can shut that off altogether, though. You can only allow them to have access to the communication and no file access.
Yeah, but like I need them to see the proposal because it has everything that they booked. I just don't want them to see the price. And I understand the price transparency, and I pay my guys really, really well. But no matter how well you pay them, when they see that full price, like, yeah, they're going to kind of understand that, you know, I'm running a business, but it's still in their mind that like, damn, this guy, he's making double, he's making whatever, however much more it is.
That's what I'm saying. Full transparency. All my DJs literally know every ounce of every dollar in the business, where it goes, what we spend money on, etc. They know our ad spend. We go through the breakdown every monthly meeting as to where we stand. So they know, oh, they see the bottom line that shows that I barely scrape together 10% at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I wholeheartedly disagree with Rick on this one, and that is all.
I have loyal DJs. That's all I care about.
That's great. I'm not, I'm sure it works both ways, but if you were looking for a fuck that, I'm saying fuck that. So there you go.
I think
Well,
loyal
I'm
comes
just-
with them if they're happy with their pay, but telling them everything is like, I don't know.
They deserve the right to know it. They're working for the company. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Okay.
They get to understand how much money we're spending on ad dollars. They understand how much I'm paying their assistants, how much the office staff costs, and why.
Right. It's
Taxes.
also just not necessarily. And sure, I'm glad. Like, okay, tell them all the numbers, cool. But why? Also, like every time is that really necessary information? You know what I mean?
It's buy-in. The way I look at it is it's buy-in when they see the big picture of what we're trying to grow and how we're trying to do it. Understanding the numbers plays big into that. Because my first couple hires, I had to, and Marcellus was one of them. Until I was fully transparent with the numbers, he literally would argue to the death of me that I wasn't paying him enough, like constantly. You're charging $2,000 for this wedding. I'm only making $900. That's bullshit. Like.
Yeah.
It takes the level of it takes business education. So that's basically what I've taught them all is this is what it takes percentage wise to do this, and that. And basically once they finally saw how the business runs, they didn't have to understand the numbers, just more the percentage of like where that money for every event is going.
So that step that you're talking about, explaining everything else, is necessary if you're going to be showing them the price of the gig, because they're going to be asking questions until you tell them, well, here's how much I spend monthly on all these services that I use.
I'm not about to justify that every time. It just kind of is what it is.
I mean, it's just part of our onboarding at this point. I show them the breakdown of everything, how the money flows in the system and everything.
Like, we balling? What's up?
No.
Here it is on paper. Let's go.
Well, when they look at the top line revenue, they're like, damn, we balling. And then they see the bottom line at the bottom and they're like, whoa, we're scraping it together. I'm like, yeah, because we heavily investing in this bitch. We bought all this shit. We got a new warehouse. We got all that. Like, the money goes out faster than it comes in. I swear to God, as soon as you grow.
Yeah, but also
if you're trying to grow,
I feel like if I were one of the people working for you and I was aware of all that shit, and it's like, oh, the bottom line sucks so bad because I just dump all the money right back in, I'd be like, well, how about you don't and give me some of it? Is that not a fair argument?
No.
I would I'm literally making that argument the second I hear it, and I don't even work for you, though. How would that not be?
But you just made an assumption that we're like you said, we're not like.
Well, but if that's the whole,
you just said we're doing all this dumb investment.
I didn't. Okay, well, I was just being blunt, but
that's what I'm saying.
They
see what's coming from it,
I guess. I don't know.
But they do benefit from it. Like, we added health benefits. They're increasing in pay as we grow at scale. Yeah. As we increase pricing, their payout increases. Like it's hand in hand. There's nothing. They're not seeing stupid stuff happen. Mm-hmm. I'm not going out and buying a Lambo. That's.
I don't discourage that though. If you wanted to, that would be very cool.
I just feel
I would definitely mention that to people.
So so this is if you have W-2 employees. That's my strat. Like, if they're W-2 employees, if they're contractors, you can leave that out because they're a contractor. Contractors don't need to know the full picture of the business because they're not an employee with buy-in to the company, in my opinion.
I just don't. Yet again, there's nothing you can say that's going to change my mind on. I just don't think that information is necessary for everyone. Maybe like the top people that are running the show. Okay, maybe, sure. And the way you have things up, everyone's running the show.
Yeah.
Therefore, sure.
Everyone knows it.
However, that's not how it is over here. And that's fine. But like Lindsay. Lindsay knows the numbers.
Yeah. I came to my conclusion that my office manager is gonna know all the numbers.
Of course, she has to know the numbers.
That's fine. That's okay. but she is salaried, so it's not like there's no price differences or anything up and down going on. Like she sees the numbers, but she has her job and she does her job, and
Yep. Yep.
kind of what it is.
My theory, well, this is just a secondary theory. If you're hiding the numbers from the guys, they can figure it out if they want. It takes them 2 seconds to create a fake email and know your price. So I feel it as you're hiding information to your employees, and I've been called out in the past from employees saying, you just charging this much and you didn't tell me.
But I haven't got into that because they're all happy with how much they're making, so they're not asking me these questions.
It takes one bad seed down the line to find out and then tell everybody else in the company.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, my dudes know the percentage of the total ish
That's all
that
they need.
make. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I verbatim tell them, you guys
Correct.
make about 35%, straight up. You know.
That's fair. That as long as they have a sense of how much the total bill is for their event and how much their cut is. Mm-hmm. If they start going and asking questions, which is most of the people that I've dealt with, then you have to sit them down and break down everything. They explain to them why.
You're gonna fucking question me about it, maybe, but I'm probably gonna be mad already if you do that. But that's
that's the first thing because
that's
it's like, dude.
First, I'm like sitting here like, okay, well, yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, I don't know. Employees, they're fun. Treat them well.
Did you have any luck finding some more DJs, Rick? I know you were hiring at some hiring events. I would love some advice because I'm like I said, I need another one.
So we paid money to do so, but there's a software called Hiring Steps. It's pretty cool. It's actually
yeah, I heard it. Yeah, you mentioned.
Yeah. So Hiring Steps is like $30 a month, something like that. But on Hiring Steps, you can create a job offer and, talk about how awesome it is and the culture and all that bullshit in there. Basically create a sales pitch for why someone should come work for you. Don't give them a to-do list of what they're going to do. Talk about why DJs are awesome. And then through that, when you post it, you can also, 2 clicks, it's like you pay maybe $300. They'll post it for a week boosted on LinkedIn, a week boosted on ZipRecruiter, all those services. They're all listed there. So they do that for you. And then all of those applicants funnel through Hiring Steps. And it automatically, the second day after they apply, when they submit the resume, it sends them a link to do a video interview. And you can specify what the questions are that they answer. You can specify the time limit, etc. So this is like the next stage of commit. So
are DJs on LinkedIn is my question. Are they looking? Yeah. Are DJs looking for jobs in that conventional format of like LinkedIn and whatnot?
I mean, so our first funneled down. Now keep them. So in our hiring push we just did for the last, we're not even in a month yet. We've had 180 applicants, and we've funneled that down to about 12 so far. And of those 12, 6 are applying to be assistants and 6 are applying to be DJs. And our first hiring batch, we had 6 of them at the office. 5 of them panned out. Actually, the 6th one wasn't even in our system. It was a local DJ that I was trying to, come join our team instead of being a single op.
Was it Vegas, dude?
No. Actually, no, he's now wanting to be a DJ for us.
I figured that was going to happen.
Yeah, surprisingly. He wants to get into events. He wants to learn what it takes.
Well, you can't make shit DJing on.
I will say
radio,
that's kind of that's the most promising way I found DJs. Mm-hmm. Look up companies and start following all the DJs in your area. See which one of them have potential. It doesn't hurt to ask all of them. How are you doing right now? Like, what do you feel about your job? How do you feel about the work you're doing? Do you like the company you work for? Oh, great. Cool. Bye.
You should be careful doing what Rick is saying to do, actually. That is called sniping, and that is fucked.
No, it's not.
It kind of, putting feelers out to swipe DJs from other companies, I could see how that could create a problem.
I feel like I'd only go towards the solo ops.
That's mostly what I'm doing.
That's totally different.
That's mostly what I'm doing.
Sure.
I'm looking for solo op guys that are charging what I'm paying DJs, and I have found a fuckload of them. And
I was in the opposite boat. Sorry, Rick. I was in the opposite boat at 17 years old where I had the other multi-ops messaging me and saying, "Hey, we'd love to work with you, but you got to shut down your company. You cannot. We want you exclusively." And I said no to all of them because I was the entrepreneurial guy. I wanted to do things on my own.
And I ran into that.
Backwards now.
But there's ways you can twist that too. Talk to me on the side.
Okay.
You can allow them to run their own company. Sort of.
Okay.
I don't know. No, I have so many questions.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a cool little venture idea I got going. Cool. Well, we're over time. Thank you guys so much for listening in. David, thank you for joining us this afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it, depending on what you're listening to. Yeah, because I figured West Coast, they're like, what, 5 o'clock right now? Something like that. Anyways, yeah, so if you guys are listening to this podcast on all our listening sources, you can go watch the beautiful video version on YouTube. And by doing so, you should hit the subscribe button because we make about $1.50 per episode on YouTube, which is awesome.
Yep. Yep.
So,
and I heard McDonald's is lowering their prices pretty soon, so we'll be able to buy a double cheeseburger pretty soon with that.
We're gonna have their dollar sodas right here on the thing.
Pretty soon, one and a half of them.
What's the documentary? Fun size,
Super
size me. You gonna?
I love McDonald's. I don't give a shit what anyone says. This is so good.
Okay, this is disgusting. McDonald's is the worst fucking shit in the world. It's bullshit. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week with a variety of guests from Midwest to talk about Midwest DJs Live.
Midwest DJs crew next week.
Yeah, and we'll be there in some capacity. We have no idea what we're doing though.
Yes, and I'm sure that will get announced next week. Hopefully. But it might not. We'll see.
I have no fucking clue. We'll figure it out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Good night.